Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
Now, what we did last week, we looked at all the summer signings. A lot of money spent, wasn't there, in the Premier League last summer? So what we did last week, we looked at the best summer signings, the most expensive ones, and we ranked them in a tier list. And it's got us thinking this week, there's a lot of players that cost absolutely nothing that are ripping it up in the Prem, that are playing well. A lot of academy graduates. So we thought, why not get the guests to rank the best academy graduates, or an academy graduate from every Premier League club, into our Saturday Social tier list. But importantly, there's a few criteria that are worth pointing out, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously tier list rules apply, A being the best, E being the worst, and very, very crucially, they have to be playing in the Premier League for the club that they graduated from. Okay. So, for instance, we can't count Jack Grealish as an academy graduate of Villa because he's left, he's gone to Manchester City. They also can't be out on loan, so players like Morgan Gibbs-White at Wolves won't be counted.
Because it's Sheffield United on a loan.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to keep it very simple. We're going to start alphabetically, and there's actually two names to pick from the Arsenal Academy. Dave, I'm leaving the selection down to you. You've got the choice between Saka and Smith Rowe. It's a very tough choice this season. You can only pick one of them. Which player are you going to put up?
I think it's a real tough one. Obviously, Specs is giving me the eyes already, the daggers. I don't want to get this one wrong. I think Emile Smith-Rowe this season, breakout, 10 goal involvements in the last 9 games. You're looking at the way he plays, the hunger, the ability to carry the ball in terms of carries into the final third, second behind Saint-Maximin and Cancelo in the league. But I love his attitude, and his timing is fantastic. I want to big this guy up. But I think Saka, for me, is the one over those two.
I thought you was actually going to go with Smith-Rowe there.
You see, I think it's very, very close. I think Smith-Rowe this season is fantastic.
You don't think it's close?
It's close. I'm going to go with Saka because I feel like Saka did it first.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think,
especially when Arsenal was struggling, I thought
he's explosive as well. I think he's the one where you can give him the ball in the final third and he will make things happen.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that you don't get in many players.
Who do you think is going to peak higher then, out of those two? When we talk about them hitting their best levels.
I think the thing about Saka, because he's versatile, he could end up being a quality wing back, left back. I mean, at 30 he'll be centre mid. I'm telling you now. So I'm going with Saka just because of.
Okay, so you've gone with Saka.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Where do you put him from A to E?
You see, he does have the potential, doesn't he? I think with A, I think we're going to be like world-class, best players in the world.
I think Saka will be world-class.
I agree that as well.
Set your stall out.
It's your tier list.
I think we might have to put him in a B. What? Because when we've got the likes of other players we might discuss.
So you said I can move him later?
We can move. We'll have a look later. But I think Saka first and foremost.
We're going to bang him in B.
Okay. All right.
Saka
just for now.
That is the first player.
We'll let you move him.
Saka.
All right.
We could upgrade him. Look, this is fluid.
It looks like they're going to carry on with the player one in B. We move on to Aston Villa. Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, Jacob
Ramsey. Young player, only 20 years of age. What are your thoughts on him?
I like him. Look, he's got good potential. Played 10 out of the 11 games for Villa this season. His brother, though, is better, I think.
Is it?
His brother is very, very talented.
Aaron's better.
Aaron is a lovely little number 10. I think Jacobs is a really good footballer and will have a really good career in the Premier League, but I think Aaron might be the one with it.
I mean,
got 10 games this season in the Prem, so he has featured England under 21s as well. Where do you sort of fit in?
Personally, for me, he can go A. You know why?
A.
Because his dad was a boxer and fought Ricky Hatton.
That is true. Do you know his dad was a boxer and fought Ricky Hatton twice and lost on points twice? True story.
That's
but why is that making it?
I mean,
it's a great story. It's my kind of story.
What has that got to do with where you put him?
Sports is in his family.
It does make no difference where you put him in a tier list.
Surely not.
I do get that, but unfortunately, I think I'm going to put him in a D category for now.
That's fair.
Again, we can move all these things, but I think D right now is kind of a good position for him. We haven't seen enough of him yet. Scored a really good goal against Arsenal, was it? Arsenal?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to give him some respect in there. Yeah. But I think D's probably good for him.
Okay, we've got Brentford next. They haven't got an academy, Brentford. Obviously got rid of the academy system and instead chose to go down the B team route. So you can either put down A, you can put it on the table, you can put wherever you want, Brentford, because we're going to move on.
I think we'll eat it. Brentford B used to be known as Brentford Thursdays as well. I'd love them to be called Brentford Thursdays, but unfortunately can't do that. Bring it back.
Next up, Dave, we've got Brighton, Lewis Dunk, 29 years of age. Now, he started 30-plus games for Brighton every season since 2013. I feel, for me, that whenever I watch Brighton play, Lewis Dunk is playing.
And he's playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those weird players where you always think that there was a club before that he made it at like Burnley or something. He was with Tarkowski growing up, but he didn't. Didn't happen. I think Lewis Dunk is a really good Premier League player.
Me too.
I find like the category-wise is going to be really difficult because B, we're going to have some really good players in B. A is going to be the creme de la creme. I think C, we've got to have like a certain level. So I reckon maybe put him in D, but our D isn't a bad D. I don't think it's a bad D.
I think you should put him in C.
You think C?
Just because of the appearances, consistency.
Yeah.
And he's 29 years old. So I feel like, obviously he's not going to
peak.
He's not going to peak.
That's what... We'll go with that. We'll go with that. We may have to move him around because
our first in that category, Joe, Lewis Dunk.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fine as well. Okay, the next one then is a little bit controversial because he did spend some time in Manchester United's academy as well, Dwight McNeil, but the majority of his playing career at Burnley and academy time at Burnley, we needed a name. So we've gone for Dwight McNeil in here. Where are we putting Dwight?
I really like Dwight. Really good crosser of the football, most successful crossers in the Premier League this season. In terms of pressing as well, from an attacking position, he's ranked #1 as well. So I think he is the type of player that could fit into a top team in the full-back position. I think
really? As a left-back?
Left-back, right-back. You know, if you want to go inverted or you want to go natural, you know, I think he could play both positions.
Wow. Yeah. Are you saying full-back or wing-back because of the way that he plays? Just intrigued. So where you actually think his best position is?
I think wing-back would probably be maybe better, you know, in a Chelsea team, in a Chelsea setup. But I think if he defensively puts in the yards, very, very aggressive, tackles well. That's interesting. I think with a Liverpool, he could play full-back. So I think it's dependent on your structure with your midfield. You don't want to go into 3/8s and too much of this stuff right now. But I do think he's a really, really good, you know, player, and he has got big potential.
Where are we putting Dwight McNeil?
I don't think it's the Saka level, though.
It can never be the Saka level.
Never be the Saka level.
So maybe
we'll bang him in C. C, you know, a really good player, and I think he could be a...
With Lewis Dunk?
It's potential, isn't it? Lewis Dunk, we're doing it now. So Lewis Dunk has obviously got there, he's doing it, he's playing for Brighton really well. But Dwight McNeil, I do feel his next move after Burnley is going to be a big one.
I would have went D.
You want a D?
But, okay, I would have went D.
Yeah. Loved his goal against Everton as well.
Yeah,
last season. Loved
absolutely.
That. Next up's Chelsea. Now, once again, just to reiterate, as Joe said earlier, there will be one player we pick from each club. Importantly with Chelsea, there's a couple of names here. Mason Mount, Reece James. Conor Gallagher's not in there because obviously he's out on loan, as you explained earlier. But two good players here. Who are you going for?
This is tough. This is make or break, Specs. I need some help here. Mason Mount, goal in the Champions League quarter-final, semi-final, assisted in the final. You can't mess about with that.
Reece James.
And then we got Reece James.
This season has just been on another planet, hasn't he?
You know what? I saw Mason Mount do a quiff turn at Anfield.
No.
Here
we go.
It's got to go higher. It's got to go higher.
I think higher.
I think Mason Mount is going to be world-class player.
Dù là một câu hỏi giản đơn hay một câu phức tạp.
Right, we'll leave him in B for the moment.
With Saka?
So you want him A, do you?
Mason Mount A, yeah. I think so. Why not?
Because there's someone else I think is in A.
Yeah.
That with our ranking system, I think similar position should be NA versus Mason Mount. I'm not saying Mason Mount is a bad player. I'm just saying when we get to the end of it, it might make sense.
Top player, Mason Mount.
To ignore someone like Reece James, 0.38 goals or assists per 90 this season.
Yeah, incredible.
Second behind Mohamed Salah in the league. He's like 0.1,
Chelsea's top
0.01
scorer
behind
the
two goals at St James's Park as well. One with his right, one with his left foot. Both great goals.
I feel really sorry for the two lads that we put on the side at the moment, but we'll have to move on.
A lot of options with Chelsea, weren't there? Other players as well.
The next one then, Crystal Palace, Wilf Zaha. And this one for me is a tough one.
Yeah. I'm looking at two
also,
categories.
as a Man United fan, talk to us about, because obviously he came to the academy back at Palace, but he did go to Man United. So talk to us about what sort of happened there and why you think
I feel for him a bit, because I think it was the wrong time. I think if he was under Ferguson, you know, we've got a player there that would be at Man United that would probably, mentality-wise, would have been a bit different. I think United would have probably geared to play on the break with him as one of the outlets. I think it would have worked really well. But 51 goals for Palace in the league, their top scorer of all time in Premier League football.
Contract's up in 2023 as well, so but he is 29 now. So I don't know whether the move has maybe just evaded him at this stage. But nevertheless,
often linked though, isn't he, with
top
moves?
Player, so where are we putting him? What category?
I'd say C.
C. Fits into the Lewis Dunk, Dwight McNeil. I think that's pretty fair. It's D or C for me. But I think D's far too harsh.
I think if you've got Dunk in C, then...
Yeah, we put him in C. Our C might be a little bit long today.
That's
okay. You going with C? Yeah, okay, next player, so Everton, Tom Davis.
Oh, man, I love the way he dresses.
You love the way he dresses? Let's come to specs then on this.
You look like I've got style. This man's got style.
Yeah?
Yeah, sometimes I
Does
look
that, does that count in our categories? Well, are we putting him in A then? Because you're saying he's starting.
We tried to get Jackie Ramsey
yeah.
because his dad's a boxer. So.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
when it comes to style, sometimes I look at his Insta pages and I try and copy his
But what about Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Stylistically, surely he's a little bit better than Tom Davis in Everton team.
Listen, there's pictures of both of them together.
There are. New York Fashion Week.
There are.
I've
That is
seen
a
it.
big photo of that, yeah.
But what do we think of him as a player then? What do we think of him as a player?
Yeah, good point.
Well, let's just
Yeah, all right, so when he puts on the shorts and shin pads, I would say D.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I think first choice Everton midfield is Decore Allen.
Yeah.
I think he's only had one start this season.
23 years old as well now. So I think
that's fair. I think that's fair.
The next one then, Calvin Phillips.
What a player.
What a player.
England's player of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, England's player of the year, crucial player at the Euros. This I think is a
Great player at the Euros.
This is a tough one. I think I'm pretty confident where I want to put him.
Okay.
This is interesting because I'm thinking right next to Saka and Mount.
That's exactly where I'm thinking.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, an agreement.
I think
straight in agreement there.
Such a good player for England, but for Leeds, he's just that point, isn't he?
Do you think? When do you think does he take the step on from Leeds at some stage? And if so, where does he go? Do you think?
That's what I was thinking about when I was looking at this. I was thinking Kelvin Phillips, if he was a top 6 side, let's say, I think the respect would be a lot higher because he plays for Leeds United. It isn't, he's not seen on TV every single week.
He'd walk in the United team.
Oh, absolutely, he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, if not in Europe. And I think he's a player that's under Bielsa has changed his position and looks like one of the best in the team. So I think when Leeds are on Son, he's on Son. Leeds are one of the best footballing sides in the team. So I think B is absolutely fair for him.
Okay, straight away agreement B. Let's go on to Leicester then. Harvey Barnes. 9 games this season, 1 goal, 1 assist. Worth pointing out last season though, 25 games, 9 goals, 4 assists. He had that great run of form last season. Remember, then he got injured, which really sort of hampered him. So I'm intrigued to know where you put him in the tier list.
I think he's a difficult one because he's always had really good underlying numbers, his shot numbers, he takes shots in really good areas. I think the thing with him is it's the consistency needs to come a little bit, where we see him be unplayable. We see like the goal last week or the week before the international break, cutting inside, lovely right-footed shot. We're not seeing that all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're looking at a C.
Yeah, I was going to say C, yeah.
He's kind of halfway between a B and a C, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like in that half spot, but I do think if the consistency comes, he's bags in 10, 15 goals in the Premier League season, absolutely in that category. But at the moment, I think we put him in C.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. The next one then, this is where I think we need to be talking about A's. We're talking about Trent next. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, for me, I would be putting him right at level. It's not my decision, so where would you be putting him?
Influencing
We
him.
don't want to be biased. Sorry,
I
in here. Come on,
yeah,
you've got to be fair.
I'm trying to
Plays
sneak
for
an agenda
Liverpool,
in there,
I support
but-
Manchester United, but no, 100% going in A.
Yeah, top player.
You
Stay at that sticker, by the way. Get that over to the left. Where's he got off?
So I've got a reason for that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that, but I think Trent, best fullback of all time potentially.
Whoa.
I generally think he could be that. You think 13 assists, Premier League record. He's 16 away from being the top.
Best fullback of all time in the Premier League or best fullback of all time in the world?
Best fullbacks of all time in the world.
Cafu,
Think about his age.
Yeah.
I think he's got, think Cafu and those lads, they were like 28, 29 when they were
Philip
popping.
Lahm levels.
When they were getting the level of assists and goal involvements of Trent, like, talent.
So you're saying Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Ashley
Philip
Cole,
Lahm.
Philip Lahm,
Danny Alves.
one of the best of all
I think
time.
so. I think you can't argue with that. Won the league with Liverpool, won the Champions League with Liverpool. And
It's a long way to go
output
to be that consistent though over a long period of time, isn't it? But I can see what you're saying.
And I think he gets hammered unfairly with his defensive work. At times, I think he's a very good presser. I think he works exceedingly hard. At times, he's exposed by Liverpool's system. I think that's where 1v1 sometimes with a Foden, with let's say a Sterling. Yeah, he gets caught out, but protect him. You know how good he is in the final third.
He got dropped from the England squad at times, didn't he? But whenever you speak to Liverpool fans, specifically after the turn of the year, they were like, he has been our best player. Like, I can't believe he's being dropped. So I think that's a little bit controversial, that sort of dropping of him. Would you ever drop Philip Lahm if we're talking about him being...
Absolutely not. We're playing him every single time.
Yeah.
Just get him in the team wherever you can.
That's unbelievable delivery, isn't it, Trent?
Okay,
Top player. Next up, Phil Foden. I mean, what
we
a
go.
I'm a massive fan of Phil Foden. I think most people are.
Superstar.
Just got so much, I say potential, but he's reaching the levels already.
Yeah.
He's still only 21 years of age, which I think is such a surprise when you think of how much he's already won. But it's not our tier list. So where do you put him?
Specs, come on. Hit me with a letter.
If you're going to put Saka at B, you have to put Foden at B.
Wow.
Not putting Foden in A. Phil Foden.
Then put Saka in A as well.
Foden.
A great player, but what's his position? I mean, they played him as a false 9.
plays left, plays
But
right.
you said a minute ago about Saka being versatility.
But Saka was
But I think Man City play Foden in a false nine because he can't play anywhere else. That's the difference.
But he played wide left, last week against United. Did really well.
And he's
anyone plays
and he's
well,
won
against United.
He's won multiple league titles. He's won multiple cups, playing
Not by
multiple
himself, though.
positions.
That's not by himself, though.
Champions League finals.
What Saka's doing is harder than Foden.
Why?
Because Man City are a better team than Arsenal, and they've got a better manager, of course.
But equally, Phil Foden at his age, breaking into that team that is so good is harder than breaking into an Arsenal team. So therefore, Phil Foden producing output with that Man City team is unbelievable.
Phil Foden would get in any team in the world, wouldn't he? Let's have it right.
So would Saka. So would Saka, no?
You think you would start Saka over Foden at City, would you?
I would, personally.
I like
no
it.
rules.
Well, I like it. I like the no rules.
Wow.
But I think I'm going to put
Foden's
Foden
got
right
to be
there.
an ace.
Can we put Saka up there as well?
I can't. Surely Foden's in A. I can't believe we've got to move on for time. I'm being told. I can't believe there's a debate. Foden.
We may come back to
player.
Saka at the end to see whether we move him up or down.
The reason why I've got to move on is because next up we've got Man United.
And
We're a bit pushed for
potential
time. And there's
names,
three players. You're a Man United fan, so tell us the players you've got and who you're picking.
So we've got Marcus Rashford.
Yep.
Unbelievable footballer. Mason Greenwood, deadly gunman. And we've got Paul Pogba, a little inconsistent.
Yeah, and Paul Pogba's on the verge of counting, because obviously the Harvard's academy as well.
Yeah, I think we discount Paul Pogba injuries. I think he's had 5 pretty big injuries at United where it's been over 10 games out. I think that consistency. Has there ever been a season where you think Paul Pogba's done it for the entire season?
I totally agree.
That's where I think Paul Pogba maybe falls out of this. I think potential for both Rashford and Greenwood. I still talk about Rashford and potential because he's 24 years old and his goal record is sensational. You know, the last season he was fully fit, directly involved in 24 league goals. That season only Mane and Salah as wingers were involved in more. And Mason Greenwood, we know how good he is from open play, more goals since the start of 2020 from open play. I'm going to go Rashford over Greenwood because I think Rashford has a better all-round game.
No.
And I feel that...
That's an all-round game.
Specs.
Greenwood.
Let's go to Specs because he's not happy with that decision.
I mean, I have to go with Greenwood. If we're talking potential, obviously I know Greenwood's younger, but I think the other two were wonder kids, but didn't live up to the expectations. So I'm going to go with Mason Greenwood.
But I feel that's really harsh with Marcus because he's not really been fit for a season. And I think we've got that bias in our minds that the last time that we saw him when he was playing not as fit as he was the year before, that it falls out. I think when you look at what he did at 22 years old, it's still really impressive. You know, if Saka was directly involved in 24 league goals, he'd be an A. And I think that's something with Rashford that we've created this player that isn't the player. In a sense.
So if you pick Rashford, you're going to put Rashford where? A?
I think Rashford's B.
Got to get a player on, lads.
Whoa.
Okay, so you've gone with Rashford.
Specs is not happy. Specs is sat there ready.
If I would have put Greenwood would have gone A for me. That's the thing.
Specs is their steward. He's
not happy. We've got to move on though.
We can fly through a few of these names.
Sean
Longstaff.
I think we'll bang him in D.
Yep.
Okay.
Max Aarons.
Max Aarons, where'd you put him?
This is an interesting one because he's been linked with a number of high-profile clubs, Max Aarons. He's been linked with Man United, Tottenham.
Spurs, yeah.
He's a very, very good player. You know, when you look at Norwich this season from an attacking sense, he was involved a lot in the final third with Norman.
I say D.
D? You see, I think C. I think C. I think there's some real good potential there.
Okay.
Let's go C. Bang that in there.
21 Max Aarons as well, by the way.
Exactly. There's a lot of promise with him.
Okay. Next player. James Ward-Prowse.
Oh, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Specs is another A.
Whippable. Love the way that he takes free kicks, corners, the technique that he has. Saints fans love him. But obviously we've got a lot of top players there. So where do you stick him?
Come on, Specs. No rules. Where we going?
Well, thinking about this one.
B.
B. You're going to go B.
You're going to put James Ward-Prowse ahead of the likes of Harvey Barnes, Wilf Zaha.
He's got a special attribute, man. Those free kicks and corners, set pieces is key in football, man.
Directly involved in 11 goals from set pieces last season.
11. He has to go B for me.
I'm going to put him in B. Specs, that's your choice. We're banging him in B.
Okay, Specs is although Specs is the assistant gaffer, he's making his.
I've taken control on certain players. Sir Marcus Rashford, bang him in B.
I think that's a brave call, having James Ward-Prowse ahead of the likes of Zaha and Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, gone with B though. They're both agreeing.
Yeah.
Next up, absolute easy one. Harry Kane. A. I mean, that's the easiest of all of them, isn't it? Surely.
I mean, if we're talking this season, then
He's trying to get him there.
I'm going with F.
But I mean, as an academy graduate,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's potentially going to to become the all-time goal scorer for England and the Premier League.
Smith is raging it.
Just a phenomenal.
Going back to the season.
Where's A plus?
The Spurs finished second in the league.
Yeah,
29 goals, 5 assists in 30 games. Like that is an unplayable season. I think A is absolutely fine.
Knowledge, by the way.
And I think one of the big things with the A category, or with our A category, so we're doing this together as a team. I think these three are at that world-class level.
Yeah.
Or like the best top 10 players in the world top level.
Okay.
All right, Watford don't have any academy players in their first team squad
Currently,
at the moment. So let's move on to West Ham then, because we're talking about another potential superstar here, Declan Rice.
This season, by the way, what a season Declan Rice is having.
I think he's been the best centre mid in the league this season.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
The one thing that I looked at is did some analysis, like all of his actions and everything, looking at me thinking one thing that he could add, goals and assists.
Yeah.
Shoot a little bit more. What's he doing this year? He's scoring goals, he's getting assists, he's playing a little bit more forward.
Jack Wilshere, when he was on commentary and doing analysis a couple of weeks ago, said he's the best finisher at West Ham, which, when he was there, which I found really interesting, given that he doesn't score an awful lot of goals. So it proves that he can play a bit further forward.
The technical side of his game is really underrated.
Yeah.
Think about progressive carries as well. He's something like 2,205 yards this season, the Premier League.
Look at that knowledge.
That is
down to a
a
yard.
niche stat, isn't it?
2,205. He's going to
Bang him in, eh?
2,205.
Yeah, there we go. That is, and lastly, Wolves.
No
academy graduate.
Yeah.
We mentioned Morgan Gibson-White, who did come to the academy, but is on loan at Sheffield United.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for
So there we go. Okay, so that is the Saturday Social tier list. I don't think that's